What's up guys, J&O here and welcome back to FM Scout and another episode of Rumours To Reality. Today we're looking at the same player we looked at last Sunday, John Stones, but we're putting him into a different club. This time we're looking at his rumoured move to Chelsea. Now Chelsea have been chasing him since the summer transfer window. This time on Football Manager we're going to see what would happen if Chelsea managed to get their man. Check out the video from last week. There should be a card annotation right now, and let's see how John Stones can do at Chelsea compared to how he did at Barcelona and then at Manchester United, which he moved to from Barcelona in our previous experiment. Now if we just have a quick look at John Stones in 2016, it's the 1st of June, we've moved him to Chelsea and we can see that he is most suited to playing as a ball-playing defender, and he can also play as a right back, and he's valued at 25 million, earning 115k a week. And if you ignore that Barcelona bit, as I'm using the same saved game, we can see for Everton he had 25 games, 1 assist, 3 player of the matches at a 7.26 rating. Now we're going to go forward a year, we're going to look at how John Stones did in this Chelsea team and see who else they had in centre back and right back, so we can compare as to why he isn't getting games, or if he is getting games, who he is beating into the first team. Okay, so first of all we'll see how Chelsea did in the 2016-2017 season, and as you can see on the screen in front of you, Chelsea came third with 81 points, 1 point off of second place Man United, and Man City went and won the league with 91 points. The top 4 is pretty predictable. John Stones isn't jumping out in the stats for the Premier League as one of the best players in the league, but let's go and have a look at the Chelsea side. We can see that his competition for centre-back was Kurt Zouma, John Terry, Gary Cahill and Stefan de Vrij, so they are quite stacked at centre-back. And right-back wise they've got Mario Fernandes, Cesar Azpilicueta and Kurt Zouma can also play there, so there's a lot of competition for John Stones to get into this Chelsea team. However, he did manage to get 15 appearances, no goals, no assists, no player of the matches and a 6.71 rating overall. However, it does look like a lot of these appearances were as a substitute. If we have a look at Chelsea's performance in other competitions, we can see that they got knocked out in the semi-final by Manchester City, who did go on and win the European Champions Cup. They got knocked out in the third round by Stoke in the FA Cup, and they were the winners of the Capital One Cup, and they also won the English Community Shield. Now we'll move forward another season and see if John Stones can improve on his performance in the 2016-2017 season. Okay, so we've moved forward a season, and as you can see, Chelsea have actually missed out on the top 4, getting 5th place, Tottenham taking their place in the top 4 teams, with Man City winning the title again. If we have a look at competitions, they got knocked out in the first round by Zenit St. Petersburg, knocked out in the semi-final of the FA Cup to Fulham, and they won the Capital One Cup again. As far as his competition for first team places goes, they've added Riedewald. I apologise if I've said that wrong. Andreas Christensen has also been added to the team, but they have lost some of their centre-backs by the looks of it. Cahill is no longer there. I can't see Zouma, so still a hard team to get into, but let's see how many appearances he actually got. As we can see, he actually went down in appearances. He got 13 appearances. He also went down in average rating, and again, also looks like quite a few sub-appearances for John Stones this season. So this is looking very similar to his time at Manchester United from last week's experiment, where it might take some time for him to break into the first team. Okay, so we move on to the third full season John Stones has had at Chelsea. We're now in 2019 and Chelsea have missed out on the top 4 yet again. The top 4 hasn't changed from the previous season, with Man City still winning the league. They got knocked out in the semi-finals by Barcelona, who went on to win it, and they were runners-up in the English FA Cup, losing to Manchester United. As far as his competition goes, Azpilicueta is still there. Chelsea now have Callum Chambers, which is a bit of a surprise. Terry and Cahill are back, so Cahill was maybe dropped to the reserves in the last season. Stefan de Vrij is back, Andreas Christensen, so again a very hard side for John Stones to break into the first team. And it shows in his stats. He had 6 appearances this season at 6.64 rating. Again, the appearances are just not coming in for John Stones, which is probably affecting his growth as a player. Let's move on to the next season. Okay, so as we can see, Chelsea have managed to break back into the top four at the expense of Tottenham. They are now third, which still probably isn't as good as they want to achieve, but it's a lot better on their past 2 seasons. However, they did win the Euro Cup, which is the big trophy for them to win. They got knocked out in the English FA Cup in the 4th round, and yet again they've won the Capital One Cup. If we have a look at the squad, we can see that their defence now consists of Azpilicueta, John Stones, Christensen, Stefan de Vrij, and that is it in the first team. So John Stones seems to have less competition. Cahill and Terry may have moved on or retired, so hopefully he's had more appearances. And as we can see, he has improved on his appearances compared to last season, but it's still only 12 appearances. But his performance at 6.94 has got better. Let's move on, and hopefully next season is the one where he breaks into the first team. Okay, so Chelsea have got 3rd place yet again. However, they did win the European Super Cup. They lost the Capital One Cup to Manchester City, and they got knocked out in the first round of the European Champions Cup by Real Madrid, which in the end was won by Paris Saint-Germain. As far as competition goes, Azpilicueta, Christensen, Stefan de Vrij, and now Andre Silva has joined Chelsea, along with Mario Fernandes, so the competition is pretty similar. But did John Stones get some more appearances? And the answer to that is finally, he got over 20 appearances in a season with 23. He got 1 assist, 1 player of the match with a 6.73 rating. He's clearly not a nailed-on choice for Chelsea. We'll go forward 1 more season and hopefully see John Stones become the player that the world is expecting him to become. Well, Chelsea have actually improved their position in the league. They have now managed to get 2nd place. Liverpool have broken into the top 3, with Arsenal finishing in 6th. They got knocked out in the quarterfinals of the European Champions Cup to Barcelona, who went on to win the whole thing. They got knocked out in the FA Cup by Tottenham Hotspurs, and there you go, they won the Capital One Cup yet again. If we have a look at the senior squad, we can see the same similar names are there as competition, but did John Stones finally get nailed on at centre-back? And the answer to that is, it looks like he may have been first choice, or one of 3 of first choice centre-backs. 25 appearance, so that appearance number has gone up, and he's now at a 6.98 average rating with a player of the match, with 2 player of the matches and 1 assist. So we'd have to say this has been his best season at Chelsea, because it's his highest average rating with the most player of the matches. However, yet again, John Stones doesn't seem to nail on the centre-back position at Chelsea. So next week we will look at what John Stones could potentially do at Arsenal, see if he can nail on a place at Arsenal as centre-back. And also, I'd like you guys to leave in the comments below if you would like me to do what I did with the Jamie Vardy Rumours To Reality, where I became manager of the club and kind of forced the player to play in that position regularly. Because to be honest, if someone buys John Stones, they're probably going to put him into the first team, whereas Football Manager obviously is looking at stats and so on and so forth and not playing him as much. So leave in the comments if you want me to return to the way I did it with Jamie Vardy. Anyway, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Make sure to check out my channel, where we have plenty of Football Manager videos, including a network game with Dave, who's also part of FM Scout. Thank you so much for watching. It's been a pleasure being on, and I'll catch you guys next time.